Very often, we have all of these leagues here in Trinidad. We have scouts come down to Trinidad, we have coaches come down to Trinidad, and they interact with our players here in Trinidad, our footballers that is, and they share their knowledge. They see our players and they give them potential opportunities. But quite often, not all the time, but quite often we can forget that there are wonderful footballers and wonderful talent out in Tobago as well. And the search for the next Dwight Yorke in many ways has started and continues. But one man is pushing it to a great deal further. Shaquille McLetchie, who is the president of the Tobago Youth Football League, will be holding a college ID camp specifically at the Dwight Yorke Stadium this weekend as we look and we seek out some Tobago footballing talent. And there's many of them. We saw that Karen Forbes had a tournament and we highlighted that tournament a couple of weeks ago. So there is a lot of talent on Tobago, but if nobody's seeing the talent, then none of these kids will be able to progress to the Pro League, to Premier League football around Europe, to leagues around the world. Because a lot of our kids have talent, but if they're stuck in the rural communities and they don't get out of it and nobody sees them, then it doesn't really help their careers in any way. I want to welcome Shaquille McLetchie, who joins us from New York via Skype. Shaquille, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ryan. Good morning.
Thanks a lot for joining us. So I want to start by asking you, this college ID camp that takes place this weekend, this Saturday and Sunday at the Dwight Yorke Stadium in Tobago, what inspired it?
Well, a college ID, recruiting kids, getting kids to universities, getting kids to colleges in the US is something myself and Wendell Moore has been doing for a very long time. And we decided, to have the coaches come to Tobago and give the kids that first-hand experience, actually coach the kids, guide them through seminars, educate the parents, educate the kids about the whole college process.
Not sure how much you caught in my opening statement, but a lot of the attention is always placed on Trinidad. This Tobago Football Youth League, this particular college ID camp, you're placing specific emphasis on the island of Tobago.
That is correct, Ryan. For a number of years, Tobago has been neglected, and this kind of inspired me to form this organization. So the organization just don't only do college IDs. So we were responsible for this first Tobago Youth Football League, a 2-month league during the summer last year that saw over 450 kids play football all year round. We was also responsible for the Shaquille Youth Classic last December, where we saw a few teams from up the islands, a bunch of teams from Trinidad, all come to Tobago to play at the Dwight Yorke Stadium. So we're trying to find the next Dwight Yorke. We want to, develop youth football on the island, that kind of stuff. So we take it to the next step to launch the college ID, to actually get kids from Tobago, even from Trinidad as well, to the USA.
Okay, so let's talk about the state of football in Tobago. What state is it in as we do look for our next national player, our next Premier League player coming out of the island?
I would say not in a good spot, but we have a new TFA president, Makan Hislop, and I believe as a member of our Tobago Youth Football League, he has the right goals for football on the island, and I think he could take it back where it used to be back in the days with Dwight Yorke and Wendell Moore, Kean Daniel, Trevin Caesar. He could take it back to those days where he could be producing talent all the time, What is required, Shaquille, then? What are the resources, the facilities, the programs required for us to harness the talent that you say our 450 kids showed up at the Tobago Youth Classic? The Shaquille Youth Classic, sorry. What are the requirements that Tobago football needs? Tobago football needs the right program. So let's say, for example, we had the TTFA Elite program, right? Which Tobago was not involved in that at all. Say, for example, you had kids in Trinidad training 4 times a year, and a national competition is coming up 2 months down the road. Then they now come to Tobago and say, hey, we need some players. Now you're taking a kid from Tobago who hasn't been training and going up and compete against players who've been training for the past year. How can a Tobago talent break through that? There's no way close he can be able to enter that team. But if we have this same elite program in Tobago, and these kids in Tobago training all year round, not parents taking money out their pocket and having to go down Trinidad every weekend to train in the program. If we had our own program in Tobago, then our kids in Tobago will be at the level at the Trinidad kids, and then we will see a bunch of Tobagonians breaking into the youth national teams, the senior team, and going up the levels.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about the college ID program the camp that kicks off this weekend. It's between Saturday and Sunday. It's 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. both days. Kids are asked to get there for 10 o'clock. Who's invited?
Fourth form to sixth formers are invited. We also inviting tertiary education students, kids that are in UTT, UE, who still think they want to give it a shot to go to the US and play college level football.
Okay, for these kids to go to American universities, you must have a scout, someone looking at them, someone who can advance their careers into the college system of America. Who will be doing the scouting?
So we have 5 coaches coming down. We have America International College, Concordia College, Bunker Hill Community College, Sacred Heart University in Connecticut, and we have Broad College from in Florida. So these 5 coaches coming down to do the recruiting, to see the players first, and these coaches also be responsible for doing a session. So the first part of the college ID from 11 to 12, the coaches and them will actually be doing a training session, then followed by a seminar.
All right.
So where the
Sorry.
So where the coaches are going to be, educating the kids and the parents about the whole college process, from leaving from Tobago and getting to the USA, or leaving from Trinidad and get to the USA.
Right. So when we look at this, there's a steady stream of college students who are interested in football. How do you see the future of this camp going in terms of in the next few years and getting college students from Tobago to American universities? Is this something that you plan to have on an annual basis?
Yeah, we plan to do it every year. A matter of fact, we're even thinking about having one in Trinidad as well, probably later in the year or next year. But it's something we want to do annually, and we want to have it in Trinidad as well, not only Tobago.
When you look at the talent, do you see the talent in Tobago that can compete at these American universities that you speak of?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of talent in Tobago. We have a track record of Tobago players, not breaking into the national team, but going into universities and colleges in the US and making a name for themselves. So there is talent. There is no question about it. And some of these coaches even know that. Some of these coaches had recruited Trinidadian players, Tobagonian, and know the kind of talent it have in Tobago. So these were kind of prompt their interest to actually come to Tobago.
All right, as we wrap this interview, Shaquille, I just want to re-emphasize that it's Form 4 students through to tertiary education students. It's going to be at the Dwight Yorke Stadium from 4 p.m. to from 11 a.m. rather to 4 p.m. Any other information that you'd like in terms of what the documentation that they'll need? Is there a cost attached?
Yeah, there's a $300 fee. There's a registration we ask kids to fill out to put their SAT grades, put what year they graduated high school, all the necessary information. So when our coach is interested in the player, we could send the coach that, hey, this is the guy, this is the educational background, and then we'll know the next step to take from there.
All right, listen, Shaquille McLetchie, really appreciate you being on the Morning Shot this morning. We look forward to covering the camp later this weekend, and we'll let Trinidad and Tobago know how it went as well. Good luck.